Taking on a guy like Shawn Porter, what does that do for you? How does that test you in the ring like you've never been tested?
I don't know. I've never been in the ring with Shawn before.
What's the expectation?
I'm expecting him to come and, you know what I mean, do everything he possibly can do to get the job done like anybody else would. You know, I don't view Shawn no different than I view anybody else. Nobody want to lose when they step foot in the ring. So I believe he's going to come 120% prepared, ready to, you know, take my title, and that's going to make for a great fight because I'm going to be 150% ready for whatever he brings to the table.
Is this the deepest amount of respect you've ever had for an opponent? Is that fair to say?
No. I respect every single one of my opponents. It may not seem like it, but, you know, I respect all my opponents until, you know, it gets to that time where, you know, I'm about to throw them hands.
Now, but
Of course. This is definitely a moment where, you know, everybody, all eyes is going to be on Terence Crawford. You know, everybody already seen what Shawn Porter is capable of doing, but everybody want to see what Terence Crawford is going to do. You know, when I look at it, you know, all eyes is going to be on me November 20th.
Do you have to be extra special that night, or can you just win a fight? I mean, it's good enough, right? You beat Shawn Porter. I just won. Do you have to, in your mind, win in a spectacular fashion?
I'm always looking to win in a spectacular fashion. You know, but a win is a win in my eyes. You know, no matter how it comes, any shape, form, or fashion, just win at the end of the day. But for me personally, I'm always looking to, you know, close the show and make sure that, you know, I look good doing it.
Would it feel good? Because the only knock that people have on you is like the fights you've had. Finally, you could fight a name, and if you win, no one could say anything about you.
Time out. I could have sworn the last person I beat Shawn Porter. So what makes him a lesser name than Shawn Porter?
Marketing, name, achievement, two-time champ.
Again, the last opponent that I beat Shawn Porter. So what makes him a lesser opponent than Shawn Porter?
do you not feel like Kell was diminished in his age and all that, and he's lost a few fights to Golovkin and then obviously Spence? Do you think he had diminished a little bit?
Shawn Porter lost to Spence. Shawn Porter lost to Keith Thurman. Shawn Porter lost to Kell Brooks. So what makes me think that when I beat Shawn Porter, they won't say the same? He's, what, same age? Mm-hmm. You know, so it's hard to say, you know. It's just, when we get in there, we're going to see, you know, and then y'all can criticize me afterwards. And y'all can say, oh, well, he just
I don't think
Shawn
anyone's
Porter.
criticizing you, Terence.
You know, he just fought Shawn Porter and this and that, and he got to fight Canelo now. I'm going to be waiting for it.
You fought fighters with any kind of style your whole life.
That's right.
What kind of style does Porter have for you?
Well, Porter, you know, he's going to put pressure. He can box. He can get rugged in there. You know, it's no one style Porter that, you know, I see that everybody else see. You know, he have fast feet. He have good hand speed. He's very athletic. He's durable. So, you know, I really can't say which Shawn Porter I'm going to see come fight night. But like I said once, and I'm going to say it again, we're going to be prepared for whichever style he brings to the table.
You know, but a lot of people seem to avoid Shawn Porter. You seem to embrace this. Do you think with the great sensational victory, it'll silence the critics that say Bud Crawford, yeah, he is pound for pound, but who has he fought? And by the way, I'm in your corner.
It depends on the fashion that I beat Shawn in. You see, everybody that's beat Shawn won on a split decision. So if I beat Shawn in a fashion that I beat everybody else, then they're gonna say, oh, well, Shawn Porter wasn't the same Shawn Porter. Or they're gonna say, oh, well, Shawn Porter wasn't the man in the division. So, you know, it really doesn't matter, you know. My thing is doing what I do best, and that's winning in tremendous fashion.
Do you have to make a statement against Porter, then do you have to go in there and do an absolute 12-round shutout, maybe something that nobody else has done, stopping him, knocking him down a good few times? Do you have to make a statement against Shawn Porter to
Just win.
just win?
It's never on my mind to go in there and knock somebody out or say, oh, I gotta win all 12 rounds. I'm always going into each and every fight, win a fight. Do whatever you gotta do to win a fight. Dictate the fight, control it, make sure you're in control, and you know, the rest will fall in place.
No, but you know, a year ago when I talked to you, you know, people looked at you crazy about the idea of, you know, TBC and Top Rank came together with the Wild and Fury. Why can't I? And, you know, a year later, it's happened, and it obviously worked in your favor. You know, just want to talk a little bit about, like, you know, the patience and understanding the business game, just knowing that they're gonna come to you if they want.
Well, politics play a big factor in, you know, certain fights not being able to get made. You know, as we know, PBC, Top Rank, and other promotional companies been doing business with each other for years. It's just a matter of, do I want to let my #1 guy in the division go fight one of your guys in the division when I got all these guys from in-house that my guy can fight, and I don't have to do business with y'all, and you know, I can keep all the belts over here instead of risking me fighting one of my guys to go over there to fight, you know, your champion and potentially lose, and you wouldn't do the same for me. So that's how politics play.
And then on top of that, I know you're a great boxing mind, and I saw you poking fun of Red like a couple months ago on his IG with the Ugas and Pacquiao, and you're like, told you Red? Like, what was it was like Ugas Red? Like, oh.
No, because I told Red before the fight that Ugas was gonna win. You know, and Red thought that Pacquiao was gonna stop Ugas, and you know, he was wrong.
Are you happy how that process worked with the WBO getting involved in this and then saying like, hey, Porter's going to fight Crawford, this is what we're saying? I mean, is that the way boxing should work?
Of course. I feel like, you know, boxing should work in a way kind of like UFC, one champion, one division. You know, if the champion is hurt, then there's an interim champion, and when the champion gets back, there's no tune-ups, there's no let me get my feet back way, we go right back into the interim champion, and we keep going, and so forth.
Exactly, and you know, I mean, as much as we can like bang our heads against the wall, or you can as well, about when are you going to fight Spence, the same thing can happen. You get this victory here, one of those sanctioning bodies can step in and say, we want to see this fight next. Get together, promoters, right?
Well, you know, like I said before, man, that fight is past me personally. You know, I felt like I did everything that I possibly could do, you know, to try to make that fight happen. You know, and for some odd reason, you know, everybody kept saying, oh, I'm chasing him, I'm this and I'm that. Yeah, I was chasing him, you know, and he didn't want to fight. He was saying he wanted to fight, but he really didn't want to fight, you know, and my thing was just, if you wanted to fight, you could have made the fight happen.
Yeah, you got to focus on Porter, but in your mind, are you thinking that maybe your fight after that would be for a 154 belt rather than Spence?
There's other fights out there.
Okay.
You know, you got Ugas just won.
Yeah.
You know, that's a unification bout. That's a big fight. You got Keith Thurman still out there. You got Josh Taylor out there. You got Ortiz out there. So you know, it's a lot of fights out there to be made. You know, so I don't necessarily got to go to 154 to get a fight. It's fights at 147.
Would you welcome Josh Taylor at 147? Would you welcome him up? I mean, there's a good thing. The two of you with the past undisputed at 140. You can bill at 140 undisputed against each other. What do you make of Josh's style and stuff like that? Do you think he'll give you a sort of entertaining fight for the fans and push you?
Josh is a good talent. You know, I can't take nothing away from him. You know, like I said, I picked him to become undisputed, you know, before he even fought. And I just always said, you know, he was a very talented fighter. He was good. You know, I'm a different animal.
What about Boots Ennis?
Boots
He's doing really well.
Boots doing great. You know, like I said, you know, I've been watching Boots since he was young. You know, and the boy got talent.
They compare him to you a lot. Whenever someone fights you, they call him if he could help them. He's a switch hitter, a lot of knockouts.
Oh yeah.
You would be fighting yourself almost.
I think I'm a little smarter than Boots. You know, I'm a little smarter than Boots.
By the way, what do you think of Canelo Plant? It's a major fight coming up, less than a month.
It's gonna be a good fight. You know, I'm interested to see how Caleb Plant, attack Canelo. You know, if he go in there trying to do the same thing everybody else did, same results, you got to find a way, to get Canelo out of his comfort zone.
But you mentioned Ortiz, Virgil Ortiz. How far is he away? How close is he to a title shot in sharing the ring with Bud Crawford?
I don't know. But Virgil, he's right there. He's right there. He's been proven that he belongs with the top fighters in the division. And, who knows, a couple of fights or next fight or whatever the case may be, he might be sharing the ring with Terence Crawford. You never know.
There's sometimes that you don't like boxing. Like you're friends with Shakur, you're friends with Jamel. What do you do that night? Do you not show up? Do you not watch the fight?
You're always at fights. So.
I wasn't going to come, technically, because I didn't want to see the fight. I felt like, honestly, Shakur should have been fighting Valdez before Valdez even got a title shot because he was WBO champion in 126. So he should have been the mandatory to fight Shakur. But this is how politics work. He got the fight for the WBC championship when he shouldn't have been able to fight for the WBC championship when he wasn't even a WBC champion. He was the 26th WBO. But Valdez is a good friend of mine too. We not tight like me and Shakur, but I support Valdez, so I'm happy to see him doing well. I'm happy to see him, successful.
Great dude.
And whatnot. Yeah, good dude. So I would have liked to see Valdez fight Shakur and Jamel fight Burchett, and then the winner out of those two fight each other. But it didn't happen. So, those two is fighting, and gotta go in there, close both eyes, and make sure both of them make it home safe.
Wilder Fury.
It's gonna be a good fight. If Wilder come in and he develop a better left hand and some upper body movement and some rhythm, he can make a different fight this go around. But if he go in there just looking for the one punch, he's gonna lose.
Who wins then? Who wins? Fury.
Fury.
Terence, there's been so much speculation about what you're going to do next with your contract expiring with Top Rank, but do you look at Canelo and say there's some real beauty in free agency? I wouldn't mind doing it that way.
My main focus is Shawn Porter right now. After my fight, and we can think about all that when that time comes. But right now, I'm more focused on the job at hand. And my promotional company is Top Rank come November 20th, so that's where we're at.
I gotta ask you this, you're very competitive. Amir Khan is very competitive. What's it like to have him in the gym? Have you seen his hand speed yet, up close?
Amir, he's doing good.
He's great person too.
He left. We really too much didn't get to train together because when he was in camp, I wasn't in camp. He was in camp with Jamel, so, we really didn't get to train together. But a couple of days in Omaha, just really didn't do too much of nothing.
He won.